What is going on to all my only murderers in the building fans out there, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. I'm so excited to be back talking about this 9th episode, which was titled Double Time. And look, we've been talking about it for weeks, and I've been saying for weeks, we got to keep an eye on Jan, and we have to talk about Jan in this spoiler review, and I'm so excited to talk about it with you all. But before we dive into it, make sure you're checking me out on all my other social media accounts. If you all are new to the channel, well, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That way you can get the alert from when I drop new content. If you enjoyed this spoiler review, we'll make sure to like and share the review. It helps out the channel a lot, but I also appreciate all the support. And in those comments, once you've seen this 9th episode, because we're talking spoilers, this is the second to last episode. It breaks my heart that we only have one more episode left, but it's just season 1. We got a season 2 coming up, but let me know in the comments, is this whole Jan situation, is it just a big misunderstanding? Was she in this romantic relationship that went wrong with Tim? Let's talk about your thoughts, your pros, your cons, and of course your thoughts and theories of what you hope to see in next week's finale in the comments below. So look, it's all fun and games. I love interacting with you all. I love the comments. But look, you guys have been telling me, Elliot, back off Jan. She's just a good person. She's good for Charles. It's good for Charles to have this good person in his life. But I've always had it in the back of my mind, it's a little bit too easy. Jan's a little bit too nice for Charles. And ladies and gentlemen, we might have our killer in front of her, or we might just have another big red herring as this show has given us so far. But either if she didn't kill Tim, there's something going on with Jan, and we're going to talk about it here in this breakdown. But again, just let me know, is it her? Is she the killer? Is it someone else? We know she has a double life that she mentioned many episodes ago. Is this part of her double life, having this relationship that went wrong, sour, that went to him dying with Tim in this relationship? Or was it just, like I said, an all big misunderstanding? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I love this episode. And we're going to break down this episode titled Double Time, starting off with the opening, which we have this kind of voiceover being told by us, by Jan, as she's talking about her Betty, her name of her Batoon, and how she has to have a good relationship with someone, how she has to pretend to be in certain relationships. And again, this gives us a little breadcrumbs of who she is. Again, if you all remember, I want to say it was episode 3 or 4 when Jan and Charles went on that first date, and she was talking about her growing up, right? As she had 2 lives. She had her life when she was a single or an only child, and she had her parents together. Then there was the other life. It was when her dad was absent. It was when she had to share her time with her dad, with her stepsister, who took on the flute and was doing all the good stuff, and she was forgotten about, which is kind of funny that she's forgotten about in the symphonies, and she's been lying this whole time. So again, who is Jan? Is she a good person, bad person? Is she a killer? Is she just misunderstood? I can't wait to see what next week has. But again, we get this opening montage. We see that weeks have went by since last week, and Charles is taking care of her. And this is where we see that Jan is still kind of pushing the narrative that it's someone else. It might be Howard, the guy with the cat. We get the official confirmation that Teddy is indeed locked up again, not for the murder of Tim, but obviously for the murder of Zoe. So that's good to have that closure there. And who knows? Again, season 2 will be coming up. Will be interesting to see if Theo and Teddy somehow play a way into season 2. I doubt it, but it'll be cool to see those characters again. But neither here nor there, as Charles tells Jan, I just want to have a happy life. I want to have a peaceful life. No more investigations, no more podcasts. I want to quit it to focus more time on Jan. While they're having this conversation, he finds out that his buddy's coming back in town, who is his stunt devil, who, by the way, I love that it was Jane Lynch. I'm such a big fan of hers, and she was so great in this episode, which we'll talk about here. But we see that things between, speaking of couples and trust, and of being too easy, Mabel and Oscar have really, the things have been getting more serious. As he's staying a night now, he is gonna go and have his name cleared pretty soon with the lawyer, because obviously he wasn't the killer of Zoe. There's something, as I mentioned, there's something about Jan. There's still something about Oscar to me, not necessarily him in particular, but just his whole situation. And I mentioned it last week, my whole inkling of his father having access to the keys into the building and all that stuff. But I just don't know what to put my finger on about Oscar. This might be, again, we know this is a long game. This is only season 1 of a season 2, and maybe there's more seasons to come. But there is just something about Oscar, not him in particular, but just his whole situation going on. And I just go back, I keep thinking about the very first frame of episode 1 was a tie-dyed character, as we think it's Oscar, that was on the floor, dead, bleeding, something happened to him. Is it Oscar? Is it someone else in that tie-dye? Which we know the merchandise is on sale now with the shirt with Oliver's helping. But I don't know, man. There is still something that I have a feeling about Oscar. And again, it might not play in this season. It might play into next season. But there's just something about him. But neither here nor there. Meanwhile, we see that Oliver financial problems has finally caught up to him as he is now being evicted out of his building. But he's not the only one that's getting evicted out of this building. But this is some of the stuff that I love the mystery. I love the characters, but it's the jokes. It's just how natural these characters are and how the jokes play so well within the narrative as everyone's meeting Jane Lynch's character, Sass, who is, again, the stunt devil who has taken everything from Charles in his past, whether it be, everyone on the crew liking him or liking her being responsible for his ex-girlfriend Cookie and all that stuff. But nonetheless, it's when our crew meets her for the first time, and the jokes that they were just doing when they just thought that she looked identical to Charles was funny. But it's when Oliver meets her, and when he is just like, whatever you have done, Charles, it's not a good look. It's too much going on. And then he mentioned Face Off when he finally sees both of them in the same scene. It was just so funny. Again, the comedic beats of the show is like, it's never forced. It never overwhelms me to stay. It's just a comedy, the mystery beats. This show just has so much good synergy going on with it, and why I'm one of the reasons I'm a big fan of it. But let's go back to the breakdown as we see that Sass is a better version of Charles, to say the least, as she's just kind of getting all the information, and she really helps out the crew because she brings in what we assume to be Jan as the lover, as Tim's ex-lover. She mentions that this seems like a passion crime, right? It just seems like this was someone that was close to Tim, that might have been a potential lover of Tim, that was the result of his death, which she has some good stuff going on, because we'll talk about that lover a little bit later. But it's time to have the building meeting, as, like I mentioned, by the way, that tie-dye hoodie, $49.99. I'm going to probably pick one up by the end of this show because the hoodie looks good, as Oliver has it for sale now. Let me know if you guys are going to pick up one of those cool tie-dye hoodies. But nonetheless, it's in this that the building is upset at this point. They want our crew to be out of the building with all the controversy, all the press, all the podcasts, all the murder stuff going on. They have had many complaints. I believe they said they've had 8 complaints against our main crew, and this is where Bunny has everyone vote, and even Howard is against the voting of our crew being kicked out because he's like, at least, they helped me figure out that there was poison, that it was the same poison that killed my cat, that was connected to Tim, which kind of puts Howard off of the back burner for now. But again, it's just, Bunny has an intention. She wants them out of the building, and she inevitably gets everyone to vote against them, which, again, now not only is Oliver out of place, but now Mabel has somewhere she has to look for, which I hope maybe she can live with, Oscar and his dad, who knows, and of course that leaves Charles by himself. But he's like, I could maybe live with Jan, but I don't know how that living situation is going to work out after how this episode ends. But again, talk about another comedic beat, as Bunny's like... She's talking about, okay, if there's a murderer in this building, please stop murdering people. Thank you. Again, the comedy in the show is just fantastic. But let's go back to Mabel and Oliver as they're making their way back to the day that everything went down. And they start to recollect that day with the beats and the conversation. But then they realize, hold up, 1 second. The bag that we saw Tim with, that wasn't his garbage bag. That was someone else's garbage bag. Maybe that was his lover's garbage bag. And that's when they think, okay, let's talk to his neighbor, who we'll get into, again, who is this woman that he had passionate affairs with? We'll get that to a minute here. But let's wrap up the episode as Charles is attending the concert of his girlfriend, who was supposed to be the lead soloist, having her big moment with her platoon and all that good stuff. But and while this is happening, and at the same time, Mabel and Oliver make their way to looking into sex toys, and they Google the sex toys, and they find out that the toy is actually this is all like cleaning supplies for instruments. And then we see that Mabel realizes this is a platoon cleaning device, which we cut back to the concert. We see that Charles meets a young man whose girlfriend is actually a protege, who's actually going to be leading this symphony, not Jan, who's been lying this whole time. Again, double time, double life. Who is really Jan? Is she poisoning people? Was she the lover of Tim? And things went sour and she took him out. Who knows? But listen, what a cliffhanger. I cannot wait to find out in next week's finale. Again, even if she didn't kill Tim, there's something with Jan. There's the relationship at hand. There's this whole double life situation at hand. There's my thing that I mentioned last week about the poison, about her feeding people things. The note, did she just write it herself? Does she have a split personality? I can't wait to find out. But again, I still have my thing about Oscar and his dad. There's obviously still something going on with all the other mysterious characters that we kind of met throughout. Again, that one neighbor that's always been in contact with Lucy. What's going on with him? We haven't seen him in weeks. We have obviously, Bunny. Why is she so vindictive against our crew? And it's just so much that I love about this show. Again, I can't wait to see. It's bittersweet. This next week's the finale, but I'm really excited to find out the truth about. I don't think it's going to be a cliffhanger. I think we will find out who is the killer of Tim, and then maybe season 2 is like another murder in case that they're going to dive into. I really do hope that we get the resolutions with the finale. But again, let me know your thoughts, your pros, your cons, and the thoughts and theories that you all have about, is it Jan? Is it someone else? Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you stuck around to this point in this review, I appreciate every single one of you all. Before you leave, make sure to like the video, share the video, leave your thoughts in the comments. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell. That way you don't miss any of my other future reviews. Hope you all are staying safe. Hope you enjoyed this review. Before you leave, as you can see on the screen now, subscribe to my channel. Check out my other content. We'll see you in the next video.